Hey Stampers, it's Amanda Mertz at Did You Stamp Today, and I'm going live. I think I might be a couple minutes late to do some fun stamping today. I'm gonna wait a second and give everybody a chance to join in and get my other screen going. And how's everybody this week so far? I know it's Wednesday, hump day, huh? Hopefully it's been good. We've had some up and down weather, so it was nice to get outside and see some sunshine today, and hopefully it won't be too distracting. There's lawn care people out mowing and aerating and doing all sorts of loud things out there, so hopefully everything is okay in your world. Just a quick couple announcements in Stampin' Up world. If you're watching this replay on YouTube, most of this stuff is only good for a week or so you can skip ahead to the stamping portion and say hi on YouTube if you're watching replay. Leave a comment, like, follow, do all the great stuff so you don't miss out on any fun projects. If you're watching with me live here on Facebook, today is, what is today? I'll have to look at my calendar. Wednesday, October 15th. I knew it was Wednesday, I didn't know what the date was. If you're one of my local stampers, don't forget to RSVP to class on the, it's a Tuesday. Let me just see, when is class? It is October 28th, so please make sure you RSVP if you're planning to come on the 28th, and love to have you join us. And it's either 9:30 in the morning class or a 7 p.m. class, so just respond to the one that you prefer to come to. And another thing, let me show you guys. Put it over. I tucked it away over here. I'm so excited. This came. Woo, the little advent calendar. Super excited. I have not peeked at anything. I think I'm going to wait until the first week in December and maybe open up. One of my stampers also got it, and she said she was going to open up maybe one door every other day to make it last through the whole month of December, and then maybe you have 2 days to play and make some projects. And so I think that might be a good way to do it. If you have other suggestions, let me know, because this is a little treat for myself. I don't usually buy stuff like this, so this is kind of fun, and it opens up and you can see all the doors has different things in there. We don't know. We know for sure that there's some designer series paper, but other than that, I imagine there's some ribbons and embellishments, and I've not watched any of the spoilers online, so I'm gonna keep this one to be a full surprise. And here's the stamp set that comes with. So it's kind of like, it's all occasion, all year round. It's not Christmas oriented necessarily. I guess you could use this flower down here and maybe make a poinsettia and stuff, but there's obviously, you can make a cupcake, and looks like some other flowers and just some nice set of sentiments. And so if you're interested in this, or if you want this for a Christmas gift, go to my online demonstrator store website and share the link with those who buy you gifts and who are always like, I don't know what to get. Stamps and paper crafting products are always the right size and the right color, so you don't have to return it, and you know it's going to fit in your craft room. So if you're interested in the advent calendar, head on over and get that ordered soon. It's while supplies last. We haven't been told they're going low, but you never know. Sometimes things go low and then immediately sell out. So let me get organized here, and then we can get to the stamping. Let me pull over my light and see if we can get the, here we go. Ooh, zoomed in really fast. Usually it takes me a couple tries to get the zoom sorted, but here we go. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making a set of 6 tags. You can kind of see where this one's going with the Christmas Tags and More 6x6 paper. See, I've used this one a lot, so a lot of the patterns are already gone, but this is a great one if you want to do tags, if you want to make cards that are a little less maybe stressful during the holiday season, where a lot of the stuff is printed, and we've got these great die cut sheets, little accent pieces that you can pop out, and some of them are already falling out. They're very easy to take out, and you don't have those little nubby things showing on the edges. So you get 8 sheets of these patterns, and then there's 2 each of the die cuts. So look for these products in the September to December mini catalog. And then we're also going to be using 2 stamp sets, and we're going to be using the Wishing You Joy, which just is a nice mix of different fonts for several of the same sentiment. So when you need one that's just a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, or a little bit fancier, we've got that one. And then we are using the traditional labels stamp set just for the to from, since we're making tags. So let's get started with that. Let me set these aside and show what papers we're going to need. So for the tags, I've decided to pull the colors straight from the Designer Series paper, and I'm going to do 2 tags in Garden Green, 2 in Crumb Cake, and 2 in Real Red. And these are 2.5 by 4, so pretty basic size. We've got that. We're going to have 2 by 3, and we've got 6 of these. These are going to be what goes on the back side of the tag that we're going to stamp the to from on. We've got some just 1/2-inch strips that are just offcuts from cutting down other basic white. And then I've just got a strip of basic white just to do a circle punch with some sentiments. All right, let's start with cutting these apart. And these are really nice because they're nice and straight. Ooh, let me turn this around. They're nice and straight. Let me get this in the shot so everybody can see. Hopefully everybody can see. See if anybody's here. Hi, Joan. Thanks for joining today. Glad to see you joining us from Washington. If you've got some fall weather happening out there. All right. So these are, you can get, obviously the paper is 6 by 6, but the tag pieces are 3 by 2. So it makes it really easy. You just want to line up at your 3, run that one down, and then at 2 inches, and then just keep sliding it over at 2 inches to cut each one apart. And if you're not super exact like me, I can already see stuff that's going to bother me. We'll just get that trimmed off when we're ready to, I don't want to put my head over to see, but we'll just trim that off as we go through, and if it really bothers me that much as we go along. So here we go. Yep, that one was not super exact, but let's set those aside so you can see. You can use this side with the pictures, or you can turn this over if you just wanted to make them all more similar, and you'll see how we go through that. So let me just, and normally I would use I have a big guillotine paper trimmer that does these little snips really good, but I feel that my little portable one, I don't always get a nice clean cut when I try to get these little scraps. So I'm just gonna take those off real quick. Obviously you might not be as particular, and that's what's great about paper crafting, right? You do you. All right, here we go. So we've got our 6 patterns, and let me just see what we're gonna do next. Next, we are going to make our tag shape. So I've got again, these are 2.5 by 4, and these are gonna be my tag bases. I'm gonna get out my little handy ruler. My husband, this used to be, see, it's got my maiden name on it and everything. It used to be a regular 12-inch school ruler, and I only need about 6.5 inches, so he cut it down for me. And use what you got, right? So this one, where's my pencil? I grabbed my scissors instead. We're going to measure, let's see, what are we gonna do? We're gonna measure 3¼ inches. So it's basically, I'm using my grid paper. You're gonna measure 1/4 inch down and 1/4 inch down. Sorry, 1/2 inch down, not 1/4 inch down. And then you're gonna use, and then 1/4 or 1/2 inch, sorry. I would say it's early, but it's not really early. I could blame that. And then we're gonna do the same on this side. You're gonna measure 1/2 inch in, and then a 1/2 inch down. I'm going to turn it just to make it a little bit easier. And then you're just going to line up your dots. I'm trying to not lean my head over, and just do a light pencil mark just so you can see where you're going to trim those off. And again, you're just going to connect these 2 pencil marks. And you can kind of see, so 1/2 inch down, 1/2 inch over, 1/2 inch over, 1/2 inch down, and then just connect your lines so you have a guide to follow. And just snip the end off, and then snip it off, and that's it. And then you just line up the rest of them and use that as a template to cut the rest of your ends. So you can do them as sharp or as low as you want, depending on what size tag you want. If you don't have, a number of years ago, Stampin' Up! Came out with lovely tag punches that just nip off the end and punch in the circle. And I use those still to this day when I need to do a big tag project. It just makes it go really quick. So if you have those in your collection, keep a hold of those. Otherwise, there's some great dies that we've had in the past that I use a lot, but this is just a quick and dirty, I guess you'd say, way to make tag shapes. So there you go. We've got those. Let me get rid of the scraps. Now next, we're going to make the hole to, and let's see, should we start? Let's do this one, huh? They'll all end up the same. So we've got, I'm going to line it up right here. So I can look at my measurements at the bottom of my grid paper, but you guys can see it up here. So we've got 2.5 is, so we need 1 1/4 over 1 1/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4. So this is our center. I'm just going to do a rough eyeball dot in the center of our tag, just to give me something to aim for. And then these punches are adorable, and you probably overlook them in the online catalog or the online exclusives in the Stampin' Up! Store. It's called the Hole Punch Assortment. You get 3, and they make these nice little, well, that's an itty bitty circle. This is a little slit, and this one is the fancier kind of a tag topper. So this is a great little set to have, so you can make anything you want have a tag opening or a hole, or some, if you just need a little hole to tie a ribbon through, or a slit to tuck something into. It's a great set of punches, and they might have been overlooked. I think I overlooked them for a while, and then I saw it and I was like, wait a second, I need those. So I'm just using my little circle to line up, and there I've got my nice little tag shape. And you guessed it, I'm just going to bring my tags back in, and I'm going to use this one, and I'm just going to do a little circle right at the top of each one, using this one as my template, so I have something to aim for. And remember, these are all going on different gifts, so if one is a little bit off, nobody's going to know that the other ones are perfect, or vice versa. So don't stress about it. Little dots. Bring in my little hole punch, and you see I'm going to just kind of, hopefully you can see that. Just gives you something to aim for. So they're all roughly around the same height, and then I'll line them up and see how well I did. All right, let's see. Last one. There we go. Try to keep them all from flying all over my stamp room. I think I need to have a dedicated vacuum to pick up all my scraps and paper backings, and let's see. Not too bad. They line up pretty well. So you can see almost straight through the hole. All right, next I'm going to decide how I'm going to organize and, oops, put my arm across. I'm trying to make sure I get all my stuff set up. All right. So I can grab my inks and all that. I think we're going to line up like this and then see what patterns look nice with each piece. I think maybe that one, because it's got the red back, so I think it'll pop nicely against the green. And then this one is a green back, so I think that'll go nicely there. And then that one, and then that one. I don't know. I think I like that one. So we have each color. So hopefully you can see all that. And let me slide some of this stuff out of the way that we're done with to give myself some elbow room. As my husband calls me Messy Mandy when I cook, and I don't think stamping is much different. So this one, I'm just going to go ahead and just glue all of my, you hear my dogs barking down there? That's my Labrador. Well, they're both Labradors, but our boy Labrador tends to be a little bit more barky, and I think he sees the long guys out across the street, and he's got to let everybody know he sees it. Woof, woof. I'm going to shut the door. Hang on a second. Live TV, right? Babies and animals, you never know what you're going to expect. All right. Anyway, his name is Herkimer. We lovingly call him Herc or Herky, but he is a doofus. And if you know any labs, then you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But he'll bark at his own reflection in the windows and a shadow from the trees blowing outside. And so he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, as they say, but he's sweet and lovable, and he just is barky sometimes. Luckily, my other dog, my female dog, Aggie, she does not tend to fall into his barking traps, so, which is good. All right, so let's see, what are we doing? Let's do our stamping now. So I'm going to pull in my colors. I'm going to use Real Red and Garden Green, and then these are going to be what I'm going to stamp the two from on. And again, they're 2 by 3, so nice little tiny pieces. And I'm going to do 3 in red and 3 in Garden Green. So I'm going to get my cleaner out here just so we're ready to go. And get my 2 from, and I've put them on the same block just so I can, you know, be quick, because again, this is kind of a quick project just because we're not creating everything from scratch. So I'm gonna do the 2 from right there, so you have lots of room to write a name, and try to get them lined up again without getting my head in there. 2 from. Stamp off a little bit, and then we'll clean it and dry it. Close this up, right? We don't want to get our hand in Real Red. That'll never come out, or drop any of our tags. All right, next we're going to do the, kind of goofed that one, huh? Didn't look like I had inked it up very well, but there we go. My Garden Green pad seems to be maybe a little bit too juicy. It's newer. I finally had to replace my old one that was like original from when Stampin' Up switched from the fabric pads to the foam pads. And I still had it was the old style closure and everything. All right. Well, we've got this out. We're going to set that aside. And I'm going to do the other stamping. I am going to use, again, what did I do with it? We're using the Wishing You Joy for the sentiments, and then the 2 from came from the traditional labels dies. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to do 3 different sentiments, and I'm going to do each of those in my colors. May your Christmas be bright. I'm just going to set that aside. And then I'm going to be using the Sending You Cheer and Wishing You Joy. Now, this one I want to show a little tip. So sometimes these longer sentiments, especially the photopolymer, can be kind of floppy, and you know, you try to put it on straight and it's a little bit curved, whatever. The way to do it is you set it down and you find like a straight line on your grid paper, or just at the edge of a paper. Let me see, I'm trying to do it without getting my head. And then you just press your stamp into it. And I like using a larger stamp than I might normally use, just because this one makes it really hard to see where your edges are when you're lining it up with a basic white or even another color. The edges kind of line up the same, so you can't really see if you're centered or not. So I use a bigger block to do sometimes these skinny sentiments, especially when I'm using the small, narrow paper, because it's a lot easier to see where you are and get things lined up. So that's just a quick tip. If you have trouble getting your sentiments lined up, try putting them face down and then picking them up. There we go, pretty good. That one's not quite long enough to do the next one, so I'm just going to pull in another one. We'll just get that lined up, and we're going to do Wishing You Joy. And again, I've already put that one on, so I'm just gonna, hopefully that's straight, pretty straight, not bad. We're done with this one, and then I'm going to clean these again real fast and bring them in with the real red. So I can mix and match my colors across the tags and the sentiments to see what looks the best with whichever design. So we're going to come back with the, let me slide this over. May your Christmas be bright. Space that out a little. Remember, I'm going to use a circle punch. You can use circle dies. Punches are just a little bit quicker when you're doing stuff live. And let's see, Wishing You Joy. I can tell I taped my grid paper down, and I must not have done a very good job because there's like a bubble in it, and it's kind of annoying when you're trying to lay something down flat. Anyway, so I don't know how many days are till Christmas, but if you make a set of these, and you could just duplicate and make them over and over with all the different die cuts and use them up, and then your tags will be ready to go. All right, I'm just gonna punch this out. It's 1 1/4 circle punch. These are the really old styles, so you can tell I've been around for a hot minute with Stampin' Up. And set that aside. Then now we're gonna have the fun, well, actually, let's put this on so then we don't have so many pieces. So I think I'm going to do the red ones on the red backing, or the green, and then the green, and then there. So we just have a little bit of every color on every tag. Then I'm just gonna simply put this on the back, so it's a nice big tag, so nobody can say they didn't know it was their present. They can easily read whose name it is, so there's none of those, oops, I didn't know. And it makes it easy to read in the chaos of Christmas morning, maybe. I know sometimes I'm not very good about getting tags made, and I have to admit that we are very low effort when it comes to like our immediate family's gifts as far as presentation. I think we might most years use a Sharpie marker and just write directly on the wrapping paper who it's for. But when it's for somebody else, because I know my kids don't care, they just want to open up and see what they got. But when it's a gift to somebody else, an adult or somebody who appreciates a little extra touch, the handmade touch, I'll make them tags. All right, so look at, they're coming together pretty well. And I mean, you could go easy and just, you know, add one of those on and then be done with it. But these are so fun, these die cut sheets, that like you don't want to not use them. So look at how cute those are. I'm going to see, let's see which one we want to do first. So how about this tag? I'm gonna kind of decide what I'm gonna use. How about that one, since it's already punched out? A little bit of circle action. So how about that? We'll just do a little, we're just gonna build each one. Hopefully you're not bored listening to me yammer on, but it's kind of fun to see how they just kind of go together, layer them on, use the samples that are in the catalog. Got a little bit of adhesive down here. Let me see if I can get that off. But just to kind of mix and match, and if you have a like a group get together, you know, some ladies that like to do some crafting together, this is a good kind of a group thing. Everybody gets a couple sheets and plays around with the tags and see what they can make. All right, I'm just gonna have to make a giant pile of dimensionals. I'm gonna be using a lot of dimensionals here, and you see, oh, more dog hair, see? I don't know. Herc or Aggie hair right there. I guess it's not. It doesn't matter. So let's put that right there. And I'm gonna pull that in. How does that look? Pop of red. Let's do more dimensionals, huh? Let's pop everything. Almost everything. There we go. And let's do, let's see, I've got some embellishments and pre-cut a few strings just so I wouldn't take too long. I'm using the gold and white baker's twine. I think that's what it is. And it comes with a black and gold one also. Yes, black and white and gold baker's twine. So that's what I'm going to be using for my ties. We're going to stick that on. Just do a quick loop. You can do it however you want. If you want to do it a little bit longer, you know, that's how I get that. Almost done. Almost done. Let's see. I've got some of the Drucy, what are they? Drucy adhesive back embellishments, and they're silver and kind of a goldish. These came out last year and they were really popular and they've been carried over. I've got 2 sheets here. I didn't want to run out, so I have a second sheet. So I'm going to use a big one from here, try to use them up. Maybe I'll have to make a second set of these and use silver, and then have 12 tags ready to go for Christmas, right? It's always good to get ahead of the game. Like, that was so easy, right? So easy, so cute. Got your 2 from on the back, and we've got 1 done. Now let's see, which one are we gonna do? Let's do this one. Try to pull in my tags here, my die cut sheets, and see which ones we want to use. I think I'm going to use this one and this one. Try to maybe use a bigger one and a smaller one so I don't end up with all small or all big ones left. Let's see, how about that? And let's put this one kind of up towards the top. We don't want to cover the hole too much there. And let's see which, sending you cheer, wishing you joy. It's sending you cheer. So you can just mix and match, just stamp everything out and then just grab whatever is there and get some dimensionals cut. Like I said before, we're gonna pop everything. I had originally bought this pack of paper because I just wanted some kind of just red and green patterns for cards, and then, like, I knew that they had these die cuts and stuff and then the little tag pieces, but I was like, oh, I'll just end up using the back side and just use the check pattern. And it turned out that I was like, no, wait, we can make these adorable cards and start getting ready for Christmas. So I'm just going to use some mini dimensionals. Some of the little die cuts are small, so if you want to pop them up, I would say save yourself a little bit of struggle and use the mini ones so you don't have to trim down the other ones. I'm going to put this one, can you guys see? Put this one here. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I just looked up and saw my comments. Joan said a while ago that she had just gotten these for tags too. So, well, hopefully you get some good ideas and have a good time putting them together. All right, I'm going to use one of the picked up the little ones with my Take Your Pick tool. If you don't have the Take Your Pick tool, fabulous tool. I'm using the piercing end, but you pop that off and you have a spatula end. And then on this side, you've got the little like tacky pick up little pieces with. And then you also have this end that you can pop out for scoring with a little end and then a bigger end. So it's a nice tool to have. All right, let's see. Let's tie this one. And then 2 tags are down. And, oh, I forgot to say at the beginning that there is also still the Stampin' Up! Join special happening right now for the month of October. So if you're interested in joining for, the discount, or you want to start your own crafting group, or, whatever your reasoning, it is a fabulous time to join. And there we go, our second tag. Really cute. And let's see, let's do the candy canes. So if you're interested in joining, I'd love to talk to you about if you have questions or anything like that. I've already had 2 people join my team this month. I'm super excited to have them. And it's always nice to grow your crafting circle. So if you are interested in that, just let me know. And let's see, what are we gonna do here? I think we're gonna do the Wishing You Joy. So I'm gonna trim this one down. So there's 2 options with the starter kit. You can get it for, you can pay $35 and you get $125 worth of product that you get to pick. You get to pick whatever you want. So if you have like a sweet collection on your list, you can put that in. Like you can, whatever you want. You can do tools, you can do dies, like you're not limited to what you can put in your kit. Just up to $125 and you only pay $35. The second option is you can pay $99 and you can get $189 worth of Stampin' Up! Products. So, I mean, either way you slice it, it's a good deal. This one I just lined up. Ooh, I didn't line it up very well at all. It's a little crooked, isn't it? I was too busy talking. I'm excited. Like if I could rejoin again, without losing all my years and, all that kind of stuff, then I would definitely think about it. And if you've joined before and you're ready to join again, now's a great time. And we're just going to do that. And let's see, are we going to pop this? I think we're just going to put this one flat and then add this one kind of right down at the bottom. Wishing You Joy. Crooked? It's a little crooked. And get one of the big ones. We're going to add a little bit of sparkle up on the top. And another bit of sparkle. Oops, that one fell off my pick tool. And the the twine, black and white twine. Okay, we're 3 tags down. And this is really just the basic. You can change out your designer series paper and just do the size squares that you need or rectangles that you need and make really any paper. Just cut out a piece of, you could even use like some glimmer paper and, just have fun with it. This is not one where you're like, oh, I have to, follow a guide or anything like that. This is like a choose your own adventure. This one I'm going to trim out. I want to put this bow. I think that would look cute. Some people put, instead of an angel or a star at the top, they put a big fancy bow we don't do that. We have an angel. I don't know. What does everybody else use? Do you guys use, are you a star household? Are you an angel household? Or are you a big fancy bow with fancy ribbon at the top? I think that looks cute. And then let's see, what are we gonna do? I'm going to, since this is the Christmas tree, I'm going to use this little package, little gift at the bottom, and there's 2 more on this one. Try not to pop them all out so I don't end up having to search them out. And I'm gonna just do a little bit of glue on our gifts. Let's see, put that one right there. Maybe up a little bit. I'm gonna do the green one. Little dab of glue. And, oops, bent that a bit. Put that back. He's trying to slide away from me. I might have used a little too much glue. Pull in my mini dimensionals. Where did they go? Up on this side. Losing stuff already. And then we're just going to pop just the one present up, just to give it a little bit of dimension right down here. And sending you cheer. We're going to match the red with the highlight of the red bow and the red package. Now I'm just doing these, just a quick angle on the side. If you wanted to get fancier, you could do little flagged ends. But like I said, this is just one of those quick projects that would be a great detail, but we're not going to get into all that today. But there's lots of ways that you can alter to fit your style and, you know, make them as detailed or as simple as you'd like. You could do dies for these to make different shapes, you know, really make it your own. All right, now this one I'm going to use, bring in another one of these, and I'm just going to put it right in the middle of the bow. Oops. I'm going to say, it almost matches my nail polish, at least on my thumb. That's pretty close. It doesn't have like kind of the colors, but it's sparkly like that. I did my nails last week before we went to the JMU football game in the school colors. I didn't go there, but my husband did, so I kind of married into it. But it's fun to go to the football games and hoot and holler and cheer the kids on, and see some old friends that we only get to see a few times a year, usually at football games. So I was all decked out with my purple and gold. We're going up again this weekend, so I'll have to figure out if I'm gonna just keep these or swap it out for another color. All right, there we go. We're like four tags in, 2 left. All right, this one, what are we gonna do? I think I lost. Did I lose one of my tags? No, here we go. We're going to do May Your Christmas Be Bright, and I think we're going to use, if you'll see in here, there's some nice greenery pieces. We're going to add a little bit of those. So we've got that long one, and then there's one that kind of matches on the other sheet. I'm going to pop that one out. And we're going to just kind of layer those underneath. A little glue. So just sticking out the side of the tag a little bit. So now after you make these tags, you're going to have to, you know, go to the store and find wrapping paper, you know, that coordinates. Some nice real red and garden green wrapping paper, and have the whole shebang. Or you could go more rustic and get a roll of like craft paper. You used to be able to get that at like Michael's and stuff, a big roll of it. Wrap your gifts with the craft. All right, let's see if we can get this lined up. Looks pretty good. Is it? I can't tell. Looks mostly centered. And to balance out the heaviness of the top, I think I'm going to put my gems at the bottom. Kind of do one here and one here. Now you could use let's see what else. When I was looking through all of my supplies to use, you could use these. The red and gold, and even the green is, I mean, you could add those in. It's not the same color green, but it wouldn't look terrible. These are the traditional sparkling gems, and these are really flat. So I preferred these just because these are a little bit fat for cards sometimes, and I feel like it might not go through the mail as well. So I was going to save these for more card projects, but since the tags are not usually put through the mail, I thought that they would be maybe a better option, and save my flat ones for cards. So that's just why I chose the Druzy gems. Is that Druzy? Druzy Adhesive Backed Embellishments. I don't know what the Druzy stands for. I should have probably looked that up last year, but I don't know if that's like a style of glass or something. It sounds German. I should know. I've got lots of German on my background. All right, so that's that one. Super cute. And now for the final card. Look, how fast was that? We've really gone through these quite quickly, and it didn't take much time at all. Let's pull these back in and see. I think I'm going to do, I kind of like this one. I think this is, let's see what the colors are. I would say that was soft sea foam. Yes, soft sea foam. So it's just kind of like a very, very light. It's a nice kind of a duo with garden green. And let's see, I'm going to do, let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to do this one straight across the center. So I'm just going to trim my ends on my Wishing You Joy and get some dimensionals. I want to cover them all up. Pop that one. Then we're going to use this little guy, and we're going to add him just like he's kind of hanging off the tag to the side. And more embellishments to balance out this side of the open space. And then finally, the hanger. And then I'll bring them all back in, and you can see how quick those went together. This would be a good project while you're sitting watching the Hallmark movie, Christmas movies, or, you know, if you're a sports person, watching the football games, and just have your tags and all these like kind of pre-put together, and just sit and mix and match the different punch outs and see what you can come up with. So let me pull these back in so you can see them all like lined up. Like, how cute are those? Super cute. Can you see them all? And if you are not like a tag person, like sometimes I just don't get around to it. If you just don't do that, or you have a different system, you can always make these and then just put them on like a card front. And you've got a nice Christmas card, like, you know, again, in no time at all. Instead of just doing the loop up here, I did a very crooked bow. It keeps wanting to turn on me. But you could do a bigger ribbon and add some more embellishments around the side. But this one, I simply have a garden green card base, and then I embossed another piece of garden green with the, what's the name of it? The traditional wreath embossing folder. And then I just blended a little bit of garden green ink onto the raised portion to just highlight that a little bit. So you could easily just put these, you know, you could do the red, green, and crumb cake bases and just swap in these for, you know, the different embellishments on the front. So like, don't feel that like just because if you're not a tag person that you can't use make the tags however you want and then add them to a card front. And it's really easy to put these together. Again, this is the Christmas Tags and More Designer Series paper. And again, let's give you a quick highlight again to the Wishing You Joy stamp set, which we used, and then the traditional label stamp set with the two from. Obviously, if you don't have to get this one just for that. You could write to from, or if you have another set that has to from, there's several sets I think currently that have the to from included in them. I'm trying to see what else. I know for sure if you have this one, it's really tiny, a little cheer, you've got your to from on that one. So there's lots of different options to use, and I just thank you guys all for joining me again this week. It's so nice to see people pop in and say hi. Oh, I see Macon has joined, and just really like showing you guys different things that I've been working on. And please leave a comment if you have any questions or whatever. Make sure you follow my Facebook page to get notified when I schedule lives. They're generally on Wednesdays at 11, but just in case, if you make sure you follow my page so you get all those notifications, and then when I post new stuff, you'll see that too. That'll make sure it's a priority on your page. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, definitely subscribe to the page too, so you'll be notified when I post new videos. And again, leave a comment wherever, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. That's it for me, Amanda Mertz at Did You Stamp Today, and this was my Let's Stamp Today live stamping session. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day.